Hey, this is Matt once again. What about to the video? And this is a paid request from my friend Efree. It's one of a couple requests from him, which I'll get to the others as soon as I can. And for anyone that wants to request any type of videos, whether it be a topic, a review, a re-review, a commentary, video DM, let's try, full playthrough, whatever the case, PayPal is usually the best bet. Or join my Patreon. Links are in the info box down there or over there. And the theme of his requests, for the most part, involve this guy called Bruce Lee with an L-E. Actually, all of them involve him, because I recently got the Game of Thrones box set from Seven Films, and I'm kind of saving ones that I think I will like last, and watching ones that will probably be bad the first, if that makes sense. Because I know the request he made was the documentary Enter the Clones of Bruce. There's the Clones of Bruce Lee. There's the Ninja Strikes Back. I think I'll like those three. In fact, Clones of Bruce Lee I've seen once before. I remember not minding it. And then there were two others, this being one of them. Now, Bruce Lee, for those who don't know, that's with an L-E. Bruceploitation was the thing after the actual Bruce Lee died, and pretty much let's try to make a new one. So let's get a guy that doesn't look like him, but to try to do some of the moves, or the wah, or the movements, or the poses, and either the Bruce Lee, L-I, or Bruce Lee, L-I-G-H, or Dragon Lee, or Lee Bruce, or Bruce Lee here with an L-E. And I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. When I was a kid, I thought this guy with the L-E was the actual Bruce Lee, because people in my school didn't know about any of that stuff. All they knew was the new Adam Sandler film coming out in terms of movies. And actually, it would have been before that. It would have been I was younger. So I probably first saw one of his films when I was like 10. So it would have been before that. So yeah, that would have been like 93 or so. But anyway, it was called Bruce the Superhero, was the film. It was a VHS tape, and I enjoyed it for what it was. I'm sure nowadays it's like, okay, I enjoy it more for nostalgia than it actually being a good movie. But yeah, for a long time, Bruce Lee, I've heard about him. Okay, that's who it is. It's like, no, there's this whole Bruceploitation thing. Just a fascinating subject, which I look forward to with that documentary and watch it and talking about. But I know I'm like 3 minutes in, I haven't gotten to this, but because this movie sucks ass. It sucks ass, and the Super Gang. 1984 film, Bruce Lee is in it. And again, that's a guy that I'm partial to because Bruce the Superhero, I grew up with that film nostalgia-wise. I really enjoy this film I saw him in called Enter the Game of Death. Really enjoy that one. I would say so far that's my favorite of the Bruceploitation films. Enter the Game of Death I found very action-packed and very fun. This, he's barely in number one. That's the first thing. He's barely in the damn thing. Number two, it is horribly edited. It's edited like it got into a meat grinder, and then it got put into a thick lady's thigh master. I got through a lot of stuff. The paper shredder, the actual shredder from the Ninja Turtles. It went through every shredder in the book. Because you would think a story that seems like it's about two gangs, Bruce Lee is in one, a guy named Kenneth is in the other, they're friends, but they're in rival gangs. Bruce Lee's big brother has died. He's come back from, I want to say, was it Holland? Somewhere in there. When I get revenge for who killed our big brother. And they think the other people do it. They did it and they did everything. But then people on Kenneth's side are saying, no, there's actually something else going on. Perhaps look at one of your own. Which in this case is the boss. I forget the boss's name. I'll try to remember it. Han. I think that was his boss's name. You think that would be a simple idea, a simple plot. But within 15 minutes, it introduces so many characters. It's edited so sporadically. I did not know what the hell was going on. I continue not to know what the hell was going on. And by the end, I still didn't know what the hell was going on. And it ended on such a stupid, ridiculous, dumb notion. And the way it's advertised with Bruce Lee, if you're like me, well, I mean, it was a request. Thank you, Efree. It was a paid request. Very, very kind of you. But he's barely in it. And spoiler. I'm going to spoil it because gives a shit. You don't need to see it. If you want to see it, be my guest. Spoilers. He dies at the end. Bruce Lee dies at the end. He's barely in the film. He pops up every once in a while. And then he gets killed in the end by he gets his face slashed, kicked off a cliff into a freeze frame. And then we're following for the last 10 minutes this guy named Kenneth. I'm like, who the hell is this guy named Kenneth? And oh, that's another thing about the guy who killed Bruce Lee, and then the guy who Kenneth doesn't really fight, more of a cat mouse bit of business. Where within the last 15 minutes of the movie, that one villain all of a sudden becomes a slasher film villain with a crappy looking witch mask, kills people in a tent. And I say like this because you don't really see the kill, you just see the guy and the girl scream in the tent, so you get the idea he killed. I mean, where did this come from? Where he's a killer with a mask, like trying to be Michael Myers, but you're not Mike Myers. Well, you're nothing. You're just a dingleberry. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like you watch this film, and again, within 15 minutes, it gets so easily convoluted that you're going to be confused as to what the hell's going on. I go through the film, one game's fighting another because the death of their comrade, big brother. Then we have a flashback. It's a flashback fight. You think our lead's gonna be Alan, aka Bruce Lee, but it's not. It sets it up as it is in the first 5 minutes. Then he disappears for like, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes. That's what it feels like. And when I say the editing, it'll go from they're by a building in the city, then they're on a beach, then they're in the middle of nowhere. And something about how there's a brothel, and I guess illegal immigrants of the female persuasion are being put into this brothel. But then this one guy on a motorcycle shoots another guy to get this briefcase. Kenneth is part of the other gang. At one point he's fighting people in a pigsty. The brothel subplot features this really long, boring sex scene where you don't see much, during the sex scene, much of the goods. And then Kenneth is told to smash this ballroom. And at one point a phone rings. And then Oh, there's Bruce Lee come back. There's Bolo Yun. There's like every other movie Bruce Lee is in, Bolo's gotta be in it. Because Bolo Yun's in The Clones of Bruce Lee. He's in Enter the Game of Death. He's in this other one I'm going to review. The one Cold-Blooded Murder. Sorry, Cold-Blooded Murder. He's probably in The Ninja Strikes Back. I would not be surprised. I'm like, what the hell's going on? You barely get a sense that Bruce Lee and the Kenneth guy know each other. Took me so long to figure out, oh yeah, they do know each other. But they don't have a lot of big conversations. Bolo Yun, of course, from Bloodsport, and he was in Double Impact. Of course, Enter the Dragon, and Enter the Game of Death. Bolo and his dame come in with, I thought they were meat cleavers at first, but they're like swords, and they got pantyhose on their head, and Bruce Lee is fighting them. I guess Kenneth is on the other side, and then Bruce Lee lets Kenneth escape. It's funny, at one point, there's a character that confronts another character. And how the hell do I explain the way this was directed? Like, Kenneth has this guy by the neck, like the sword by the neck. Tell me what you know. Give me some info. How did they word it? Oh, speak. Then we turn to the other side, and the film pans out, and we hear no dialogue. And it sits there, far away, looking through a window, for like 30 seconds. Then it cuts back to inside, the guy leaves, and I'm like, did anything happen? The Kenneth whoever's acting like something happened. It's just such a weird way of direct. It's just, like I said, it felt like a lot of stuff either got... Okay, either one of three things happened. One, this was multiple movies put into one. But I don't think that's the case. But it feels that way. Two, there was some other longer movie, or it just got butchered in the editing process, or somehow Bruce Lee got put in. I don't know what the hell the deal was, or just poorly written, poorly made, and shit. I don't know what the deal was. Couldn't find much of any info on this movie. There's multiple bad guys. There's a guy who was having sex in the brothel, and he's got a bit of a mustache. Then you have this other guy who's the bad guy, who is Bruce Lee's boss, and he thinks he's friend, thinks they're friends, but really he's a two-faced prick. And the reason I keep stuttering and stopping is I'm trying to piece together a movie that barely makes any sense, and I'm trying to make sense of it. So if it sounds like I'm going all over the place, trust me, that's how the film is too. So it fits. Because Kenneth wants Alan to leave Hong Kong, and Alan's like, no. And so they get into a fight that ends with them both hitting each other in the balls. For like a comedic effect. Then Bruce Lee finally gets in a few little fights. There's Uncle... I swear to God, I thought this Uncle character was called Piggy Mean. Piggy. I thought it was called Piggy Main. I swear they kept saying Piggy Main. So he chokes the guy out. It just... Wayne Brady gotta choke a bitch. And that's where it cuts to the boss, Han. Now he's a serial killer that has a mask on, killing people in the tent. Who are the people in the tent? Where did a tent even come from? Where did this whole notion of a serial killer with a mask, like a witch mask, come from? Oh yeah, that guy fought Bolo Yun, kills him by jumping up and slamming on a melon. I guess it's meant to be Bolo's head, but the cut lasts so long you clearly see it's a melon. Not a watermelon, but it was a melon. Like, imagine, like, I'm gonna punch someone, and it cuts to this. Like, this long, and then I punch it. You'd be like, why is there a cup there? Well, that's meant to be the person's head. Same thing, the guy jumps, there's a melon, and then boom, crushes the melon. I'm like, did Bolo die because he was pissed his melons got crushed? Wait, that was meant to be his head? It was... That might be one of the worst edits you could see in a film. And one of the most glaring. It felt like no one cared in making this. I didn't... I would like to know the backstory on this film. I really would, man. I really would like to see the backstory of this film. What happened? Why was it made so poorly? Why is it so confusing and convoluted? Why was there a clear melon there that you didn't even try to hide with editing? Why is it that this slasher villain all of a sudden pops up? Why make the decision of, you got Bruce Lee, okay, he's going to fight his friend, his boss, who's actually a killer, and killed Big Brother at the beginning. They get into a fight. Bruce gets hit in the face, tipped off a cliff, dies. I mean, I guess you could say it's surprising. You wouldn't see it coming. You wouldn't see it coming because it sucks and it's shit. That's why you wouldn't see it coming. You wouldn't see a fist coming at your face. Doesn't mean you want it. Call it sucker punch. So then Kenneth, which I don't even know if he found out that his buddy died. It's just Kenneth is in a little cat and mouse chase with the killer with the mask on. The guy's beating on him, but then Kenneth just pulls out a gun and shoots the guy. Pulls off the mask, sees who it is. Goes to find the guy who's in the brothel earlier. Kenneth has a gun out, shoots, freeze frame. The end. What the hell any of this had to do with the brothel and the serial killer, but it's really the boss, and you advertise Bruce Lee, but he's barely in the film. Doesn't have a whole lot of fights. At least nothing noteworthy. I mean, maybe the fight at the beginning, the Dane fight is okay. Alright. So, whatever the hell. But, again, a film like this should not be that damn confusing. It should not be more confusing than a David Lynch film. It was fairly boring. It was poorly edited. Plus, you watch these type of films, you know that the English dubbing is going to be pretty trash, and the other stuff, but you kind of go with it. You do or you don't. To me, I can kind of go with that, but again, the fact it was so confusing, the fact that Bruce Lee was barely in it, the fact that he gets killed with like 10 minutes left in the film, so he comes off as just like, didn't really accomplish anything, and looked like a fool, and I don't know why Bruce Lee would do this kind of film, honestly. I really don't. I don't see what's so super about the super gang. I don't even know why it's called the super gang. Stuff is super about it. And 1984, it doesn't look like an 80s film. It looks like a 70s film. So, that's what I mean. I don't know if this is one of those films that was made before, and then they brought Bruce Lee back to add some more footage in. Because maybe some of the Bruceploitation stuff get a bit bigger. I don't know what the story was behind this film. All I know is it sucks ass. And that's all I got. It sucks. So we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.